how do you get back to exercise and activity when you've been in pain? And so a lot of times when people go through our program, they start out, they've been in pain, they're not able to do what they love, and then we want to reintroduce harder, more enjoyable activities than just some of the correctives. How do you get back to activity after you've been in pain? A lot of times people come to us, they start out, they're not able to do all the things that they want, and so it's hard to get back into them, and we're afraid of the pain that's going through it. So I'm going to give you 3 principles today that have guided me, that unfortunately I've had to learn the hard way, that helps us get back into movement when we've been in pain and we've been struggling. And so the first one is to start slow. I remember there was a point that I kept myself in pain because I grew up lifting weights and I loved it. Like, I just loved the feeling of strength and challenging my body. And so as soon as I would feel good, I'd go back and try to lift like I used to. And then I'd feel really bad for several days, and I'd be like, okay, I'll go as slow as I need just to feel better again. So I would relax, feel good, and I'd lift, and then I'd feel like crap. And at the same point, walking, dancing, running, lifting, just about any movement would cause me to have migraines, back pain, knee pain, and elbow pain. And it clicked at one point in a coaching session, so I had some mindset work being done, where I couldn't walk a half mile without getting a migraine and having to lay on the floor for an hour. And it's like, I can't walk a half mile without having to lay down for an hour when I was done. And if I can't do walking, which is one of the basic human movements, why am I trying to do anything else? And so when I let go of trying to lift weights again and just focused on getting better walking, I was walking 3 to 6 miles, no problem, in the next couple months, which originally was taking me years and stuck, to making a lot of progress by going slow. The second part, or the second principle, is going to be listening to your body. Some days you're going to feel good and you can do an activity. I remember I ended up helping someone and watching them on their marathon, my partner Liz, and I ended up running all over town in DC and ended up doing like 15 miles, and I felt great. I'm like, this is the best I felt in years. But because of that amount of activity, I actually went back several layers, and I didn't feel good for the next 2 weeks. I didn't have the normal migraines, but I had to slow down and restore my body to be able to walk again. Because I remember a week later, I tried a mile walk, and I'm like, this feels bad. I'm not going to get through it. And so listening to my body, I can kind of, when I feel good, I can go further. And when it doesn't feel as balanced, and I come back. And pain is just one of the things that we should pay attention to. It's not something to be feared. Pain is a message telling us to listen. But so is when we're stiff or tight or achy or not as flexible. Those are all things to listen to. So if we feel good and balanced and we do movement and we feel less balanced when we're done, that moved us away from health, and we have to stop and listen. And then the third thing is to go for volume and frequency over intensity. So what I mean by that is, instead of trying a half mile when every day and jumping to a mile or two, I went to, can I do a half mile each day? Then could I do a half mile twice a day with several hours in between? So I went like a morning walk and an evening walk. And then I went to, could I do a little bit longer than a half mile several times or twice a day? And so I'd kind of like wave it back and forth, doing a little bit of exercise. And then I added more often, instead of going to, well, I feel good, can I do 2 miles 3 times a week? I went to half mile daily. So go for smaller bits more often, even if it's just a 5-minute walk once a day, do a 5-minute walk twice a day, and then 3 times a day. Kind of ebb that way instead of going to 3 miles, 4 miles, or just right back into lifting weights like I was doing. So those 3 key principles, if you focus on them, which is to start slow, listen to your body, knowing that it's not always going to be straight through, you might have to take a step back, and then add exercise and activity into your day at a low intensity often, and then you can build on that base, and you're going to get healthier and healthier, rebuilding that balance, and you're going to do everything you want to do in your life.